Hey kids, Grandpa here. I guess I'm live. I am live. Is there anybody else out there watching? I don't know. This is my usual Wednesday time slot at 1 o'clock Eastern time for doing my live stream. So I am here if there's anybody that wants to listen, which there may not be. So, oh man, with the changes in my life, no doubt I have angered and frustrated some folks. So, hey Mark, how you doing, sir? How are things with you? Glad to see you here. We're gonna give it a few minutes and let some folks wander in that may want to wander in. So, hey Armco84, how you doing? Looks like we got 17 people watching already, but only 2 people said hello. Come on, folks, step up and say hello. We don't bite very much anyway. So, Cool and Cali, there you go. Hey, James Michael, how you doing? Daniel, how are you? Sup? Hey, Jim, how are you, sir? Richard Stwally, very nice to see you. Hey, Cheryl, Bright Horizon Sanctuary. That sounds like fun. Hey, Uncle Fester, how you doing? Uncle Fester, I'm sorry I disappointed you on Sunday by not having that. I saw your comment. But, you know, sometimes in life things happen. So sometimes we get distracted and we go on to other things. Hello, Alan Pierce. How you doing? Patrick, nice to see you. Were you on the Doodles live chat under a slightly different name? I think so. No, Patrick, I never do that. If I'm on the chat, I am on with my name. I don't play games like that. So if there's someone impersonating me, well, let them just have a whole bunch of fun with it. But I can assure you it wasn't me. So, and no, I've not been on any of Bob's live chats. In fact, I have not really been online on YouTube, I should say, for a while now. Like a week I haven't been on, so I don't know who that is. You'll have to tell me more about it. Someone was using your picture and the name Grandpa Goes Sailing. Well, it's not me. I don't know who Grandpa Goes Sailing, and they're using my picture. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to look that up. Wouldn't surprise me, though. And, you know, if I was going to do something covert, I think I would be a little bit smarter than that. I mean, obviously, that's not Grandpa's Farm Goes Sailing, and it wasn't me. So, and if they're using my picture, then that would be a problem. Jim Marshall says it was another Grandpa. Hey, you know, and I don't care if I don't. You know, I know there's another fella that has Grandpa, I think Grandpa Goes Sailing, but he doesn't use my picture, he uses his own, I believe. And it was a guy that I inspired to start a channel and do some of this. So, hey, you know, copying is the sincerest form of flattery, so I'm hardly going to let that bother me. There's only one of me. I am original in every aspect of my life, and so I'm not going to worry too much about it. So, thanks, Jim. Hey, Second Chance, how you doing? Someone was using my picture. That sucks. I searched after the chat and couldn't find them. Huh. Well, you know, you're just gonna have those people out there. There have been a lot of real douches that I have banned from my channel recently. You know, people that took it personally that I changed my plans and direction and found it personally offensive to them and had to jump in there and slam me for it. And I was, you know, just get a life, folks, you know, just get a life. So, hey, no reply. So where is the boat? I'm going to get to that here in a little bit. I'm going to get to that in a little bit here about what we're going to do boat-wise. But, there's been a lot of changes, as a lot of you guys know, and I haven't been updating a lot of stuff lately because I have been very busy with changes in my life. And I thought it was time to get on here, do a live stream, and kind of bring people up to speed as to what's going on. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Let us get at least 5-10 minutes into the live stream, and then I'll kind of delve into some of the details. But other than that, has there been anything really interesting going on? Like I said, I've not been watching any videos on YouTube at all for the last week. I've been knuckling down and studying and doing my work is what I've been doing. So I haven't seen anything. Is there anything of any notoriety or interest going on that you guys want to tell me about, because I haven't seen anything. So feel free to jump in the chat and say something about it. But while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about a couple of things having to do with other things going on in life. It was a satire posted on Sailing Doodle's comments. Carl and Jenny are in Crete. Yes, I do get messages. Even though I've not been watching, I've been getting messages about them. And they've been live streaming a lot of stuff about their journal, but their journey. But all of it's been in the wee hours of the night here in Ohio. So I've not watched any of those live streams, but I was aware that they're now at the boat. Just because I get, my announcements come across every time somebody posts, I get a little thing pops up. So, hey, Carrie, how you doing? It was a satire posted on Sailing. Well, that's pretty interesting. I wish I had seen it. And, of course, it's on a live stream, so now I can't. But I wish I'd kind of seen it. It would have been fun to watch someone be satirical about me. I'm sure they didn't have anything nice to say about me. They rarely do. And that's fine. Whatever. That's their lives and not mine. It's them they know, not me. So I don't worry about it. But I did want to touch base with everybody about something, though. One of the things that I haven't followed in a very long time, but I was watching regularly when I was up in Alaska, and that is oh darn, I didn't get on here and save it like I was going to. See if I can still do that. Nope, not going to do it. Okay. There is there's a website or a channel on YouTube called, I believe it's Ocean Explorer. OCEAN Explorer. And for some reason my other programs on my computer aren't cooperating, which is not a big surprise. Anyhow, oceanexplorer.gov maybe, or Ocean Explorer. Anyhow, if you look on YouTube for Ocean Explorer, you will find some live streams. And right now they're in the Gulf of Mexico, getting ready to set out to do some underwater stuff. They send a submersible down deep, and they pull up a whole bunch of computer, what are you doing to me here? Go away. Just go away. There we go. Anyhow, they send a submersible down, and they videotape stuff on the bottom, down deep, down like 4,000 feet deep. So it's pretty deep stuff. And I find it to be pretty amazing. They get photographs of some amazing creatures, and what they're looking at, of course, is down at the bottom. And it's an interesting setup that they have, because they have one submersible that sits down on the ocean floor, and then they have another one that sets up above that, filming that one. So it gives you an interesting perspective. Most people watch the bottom one because it zooms in and you see the little fishes and little crabs and whatever that it's looking at. But sometimes the upper one is the better one to watch, because sometimes you'll see something pretty big swim by the lower one that the lower one didn't see because it's not right in front of it. And I've seen some like huge sharks and stuff swim by that the lower one never saw. So anyhow, it's pretty interesting stuff. If you check it out on YouTube, it's called Ocean Explorer. And it's more than that. It's like Ocean Explorer Gov or Ocean Explorer something else. But check out Ocean Explorer. You'll be able to find it. Pretty interesting stuff. So, let's see. Let me see who I caught Bob by surprise. Mark Gotham. I guess the satire you're referring to there. Yeah. Okay. Well, Martin Zwinberg. Hey, Martin. How you doing? Hey, Jeff. How are you? Joe Peak. Weigold. What's up? How's everybody doing? Carrie, is your granddaughter feeling better? She is. Ocean Explorer Gov. Thank you, Jeff. That's exactly the one I was looking for. For some reason, my laptop's just not cooperating today. But yes, that's it. Ocean Explorer Gov. Great channel. They're en route right now. They're moving out to a location right now. So they usually have 3 cameras that you can watch. One is on deck. One is the lower submersible, and one is the upper submersible. But you can check those out, and it's pretty interesting stuff to watch. So, Martin bought a boat. Excellent, Martin. What'd you get? Jeff, I have 3 computers, so it's easy for me. Wow, that's a lot. Whole shot, Andy, man, how you doing? I'm glad to see you here. Nice. I'm very glad to see you here. So, okay, well, we're 9 minutes in, so I guess a 46-foot worm. Oh, really? A worm catamaran? Wow. Very interesting. I'd like to see pictures of that because, you know, a lot of those worms are of a certain design, but there's all kinds of like nuances of one to the other. Now, if I'm correct in my understanding, this worm is got it's basically 3 components. There's 2 hulls and there's the bridge deck, and they're actually tied to each other with rope. They're not molded in fiberglass like a lot of the big catamarans. They actually use a rope system where they tie the pontoons to the bridge deck, and getting that lashing on and getting that lashing tight, it's a bit of an art form. So it's an interesting boat. It's a dual mast. Wow, okay. Now, if I remember correctly, Martin, it's a dual mast. They're not one in front of the other, but they're side by side. Is that correct? Where's your plywood background? Dale, it's over there. It's over there. It's on the other side of the room. I'm on the other side of the garage today. I'm actually sitting at my office. I'm sitting at my desk today. So I don't have to worry about ropes. It's connected with bolts and rubber. Really? Wow. Now that I've not seen. On most of the worms that I've seen, they've been lashed on. So that's interesting. No, I have them like a main and a mizzen mast. Okay, so, well then, you know, like I said, the worms are... Every one of them seems to be unique, so I'd love to see pictures of that. The pictures of those boats are showing masts front and back. Yes, Jeff, but I have seen those with masts side by side. And interesting, not side by side on each pontoon, but inset from each pontoon somewhat in the bridge deck. So, yeah, every worm's a little different. Wow, that's interesting, Martin. Certainly it'd be an interesting boat. I'd love to see. You're going to have to shoot some video, man. Post it so we can all see it. I'd love to see a boat tour of the boat. Take your cell phone and give us a quick tour of it. I'd really be interested to see that. Now, does it have diesels on board, or does it use an outboard motor, or what kind of power system does it have? Is there a generator? What are you got to give us the details now, Martin. This is exciting stuff. Swinging outboards. Well, okay, Doug, I don't know that they're all the same. I have to learn how to edit vlogs. Okay, well, you know, do like I do. Just shoot some video with your phone and upload it. And if it's not pretty, that's fine too, you know? Yeah, see, Patrick wants to see it. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, man, that's cool stuff. Very good. Very good. I'm glad to hear it, Martin. Okay. Well, now that some folks are in here, there's just a few things that I wanted to take care of housekeeping-wise. There's a number of people, there's 4 people that had signed up for sailing with Grandpa. A couple of those fellas have said to me that they don't want the money back. I don't care. It's a matter of conscience for me. I'm going to make sure that everybody does get their money refunded to them that donated to the Sail with Grandpa, because it's my responsibility to do that. And in addition, I'm still going to invite you guys out for a week out on the boat. Yes, I said out on the boat. So let me give you a brief outline as to what's going on so you guys better understand. When I drove down to Florida, actually North Carolina, I had a very specific boat I was going to buy at a very specific price that I thought was going to work for me. That boat did not work out. I did drive around in Florida and in North Carolina and South Carolina, and I looked at a bunch of other boats. And I really didn't find anything that... Watch your Instagram. Okay, Martin, I'll do that. I really didn't find anything that gave me that kind of warm, fuzzy feeling, you know? I mean, I didn't find anything that I could see myself doing what it is I want to be doing with stuff. So, some have 1 or 2 outboards that are stored in the aft pontoons that swing down into the water when needed. Okay. What's your take on different brokers? I've been looking at some 36s, and the broker Pop Yacht seems to be asking way too much for a 40 to 50-year-old sailboats. But yeah, Weigold, and you know what I found in my research that I was doing is 100. Well, no, I won't say 100%. 90% dishonesty amongst the boat brokers, the ones that I ran into. You know, like I drove clear across the state of Florida from East Coast to West Coast to go look at a boat, and I got over there, and the boat was just absolute garbage. It was not at all what was advertised. So there you go, Mark. Pop Yachts, no. So there you go, Weigold. This is the beauty of being on here, having a live stream like this on the internet, is other people have experience that, of course, I'm only one person. I can only have so much. We've got, I don't know, some 70, 80 people on here right now watching. And so there you go. Here's a guy who's telling you that, you know, he's had experience with Pop Yachts and it wasn't good. My experience with the boat brokers that I ran into, and I did find one guy in North Carolina that was a decent guy. He and I negotiated a deal on a boat. He was straightforward and honest through the whole process. I would be comfortable buying a boat from him in the future. But he's the exception to the rule for all the other boat brokers that I worked with and spoke to. A lot of them absolutely didn't want to be bothered because I was wanting to do some kind of owner financing stuff. They wouldn't even bother going back to their client and you know, saying, hey, there's a guy who's interested, but this. They wouldn't even bother. Even, you know, when I explained to them what I was doing, they just didn't want to hear it. They too lazy, didn't want to do any work. They were just too lazy to go forward with it. And so they didn't. So I was really disappointed with the boat brokers that I was dealing with. I was really disappointed with the boats that I was looking at. I just couldn't see subjecting myself and Miss Lily to doing that when there was another option, which popped up with going out with Steve on his boat. And then once I got to meet Steve, I realized that wasn't going to be viable. Different values, and I'll leave it at that. But so I had to do some real hard thinking very quickly that day. And I got on the phone and I made some phone calls and I talked to some of my friends on YouTube and on my channel and on my family, and spoke to different people. I actually spoke to about 20 different people in a matter of 2 hours, and kind of got the feel of you know, the consensus for what everyone thought would be the right thing to do. And the right thing for me to do would be, you know, I'm going to drop back 15 yards and punt and work hard for a little bit longer to make what I need to do. And so that's the direction that I'm going. And I know that's upset a lot of people, but the end result is I'll be on a boat, I'll be on a much nicer boat, and I'll be on a much nicer boat in the near future. So let me get into that here in just a minute. So, hey, Sailing Dutchman, how you doing? All power on the boat, solar, wind, and the genset are all installed. Awesome, man. Cool. Thank you for your input on my video. Absolutely no problem, Sailing Dutchman. Yeah, if I remember correctly, your video was really awesome, but there was some audio level maybe issues. I talked to a lot of folks, and I have a lot of people asking me about them, but you know, hey, we all suck at YouTube to begin with. I suck. I still do. I've been on here for 2 years now, and I suck at YouTube. So don't worry about trying to put out the best possible content. You know, no one expects you to be National Geographic coming out of the gate. In fact, that's not what they're looking for on YouTube. People on YouTube are getting to know people. They're getting to want to know people, develop a community, have somebody they can trust to talk to about stuff. That's the secret and beauty of YouTube and what's going on with my channel anyway. So, hey, Steve's Vids, how you doing? No, you're not that late. We're only 18 minutes in, so you're fine, Steve's Vids. We're doing great here. So, anyhow, so let me kind of get into things, and I put on here that this is kind of a behind the scenes of opening a real estate office. and sailing, and I want to explain to you guys how that's working and what all that means. So, Sailing Dutchman, great channel. I enjoyed your videos. There you go, Weigold. Awesome. Glad you did. Actually, before we get into this, let's do a quick shout out. Anybody that's a YouTuber or any videos that you've watched that's a YouTube video you want to give a shout out to, let's go ahead and do that now real quick. I did the Ocean Explorer Gov because I think they're pretty cool, shooting some of that deep water video with their what do you call it? Their ROVs. But who do you guys think? Martin will have to start a channel. You should, Martin. Absolutely. Hey, man, if you're on a boat, start putting some content out. People get a kick out of it. All you need is a decent cell phone. Hey, Austin, how you doing, man? What's new? Well, there's a lot of stuff new, Austin. Stay tuned. We're going to get into that here in just a moment. But if everybody would, what channels have you been watching that you like? Who's been doing anything interesting? Now's the time to go ahead and give them a shout out. Joe Peak, I agree. Sailing Wrangler's been putting out some interesting content. Volvo Ocean Race, yep, another good one. Lucky Fish YouTube, Warren Cat. Yes, Lucky Fish has been putting out some interesting content. I think he's the only guy out sailing with a, and I think it's just him and his wife now. I don't think the wife's sister anymore, but his wife and his wife's sister are both Mongolian. And I think they're the only Mongols that I'm aware of out sailing, which I find pretty interesting. Abandoned Comfort, very good channel. I've been enjoying some of their videos, although not this last week, but I've been enjoying them in the past. Martin, congrats. At least that introduction video would be highly appreciated. There you go. Yep, that's the one with the worms. Yep. Stephen Christian's videos. Stephen Christian's videos. Huh. What's the name of his channel, Weigold? Oh, well, you mean, okay. Yes, duh. Okay. Can the sad people that give Grandpa thumbs down pop over to our channel and give us a few thumbs? Second chance, I run into that crap all the time. Hey, I did a Happy Thanksgiving video and got a whole bunch of thumbs down on it. There's just some people who have nothing better to do with their life than run other people down. I mean, it's comical at this point. I feel sorry for them, actually. I just feel sorry for these people that, their life is so whatever it is that they have to give me a thumbs down. I'm like, really? Hey, you know what? As long as they're watching, I don't care if they do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That means they watched and I get credit for the view. So, it's all good to me. Oh, Life in a Nutshell, good sailing channel. There you go. Okay. I think it's Stephen Christian. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, in any event, I'm going to move on a little bit and talk to you guys about sailing and how I'm going to get sailing. So, sailing Fata Morgana. Okay. Prepper Sort, an old guy and his leisure 17 sailing channel. Pepper Sort. Huh. Walled sailing, also like Sail Life. Yeah, Sail Life's a good one. Interesting. Okay. Come springtime, I'm going to try to make my channel take off. There you go, Austin. That sounds like a plan. Okay. All right, so as I mentioned before, I'm going to be getting a sailboat, and I'm going to plan on getting a sailboat this spring. Let me tell you how that's coming about. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes about real estate and how real estate works. As most of you guys know, hey Ian, buddy, how you doing? As most of you guys know, I'm a real estate broker up in Alaska. I have been a real estate broker up in Alaska for 8 years now. Prior to that, I was a real estate broker in Montana, the state of Washington. I've been a real estate broker in the state of New York, and I've also worked down in the Florida Keys, down in Florida. When you are wanting to be a realtor, you have the opportunity to choose your market. I can choose to sell 10 acres of land up in Alaska for $12,000. Or I can sell $2.6 million homes in the Florida Keys, or I could sell $300,000 homes, $200,000 homes here in Lancaster, Ohio. So I had these options available to me for where I want to work and what market I want to work in. Okay, so here's some of my decision making. I could have stayed in Alaska and continued to freeze my butt off and sell very inexpensive properties. That's a hard road to go. Very hard road to go. I know I've been up there busting my head against it for 7 years. I've had some success. I've sold some properties. I've made some good money, but it's still a very tough road to go. I could come here to Ohio and I could get licensed here and sell real estate. Problem with Ohio is it requires me to have a 2-year program that I have to do in order to become a real estate broker. I don't want to go back to school for 2 years waiting for that to happen. I could go to Florida where I've already been a licensed real estate broker and I can renew my real estate license there and I can sell high-end properties. Now, whether I'm selling real estate in Florida, whether I'm selling real estate in Ohio, or if I'm selling real estate in Alaska, I'm still working on that same percentage. I work on a 6% basis on homes and 10% on vacant land. Pretty much normal across the United States. Obviously, 6% of $1 million homes is a whole lot more money than 6% of $100,000 homes. So my motivation is to go where the money is, and so I'm going to be getting my license renewed down in Florida, and I'm going to be working down in that market. Now, a lot of guys I've heard get a lot of crap from people. Oh, you know, those $1 million people aren't going to list with you. Yeah, they will, and they have in the past. And why do people list with me? Because I work my tail off as a real estate broker, and I get results. You can get on my Zillow page. Yes, I have a Zillow page. You've heard of Zillow.com. You can get on Zillow and you can look me up and you can look at the references that my customers have put up, and you'll see that I have people very happy with me with my real estate business. I have sold real estate on and off since the early 80s. I have never, not one time, have I ever had a complaint filed against me. Not one time have I ever had to go to court and fight anybody over a commission or real estate transaction. I have a 100% clean track record for over 30 years of selling real estate. I do the job correctly, and that's the key to the game. The key to the game is like any other business. You got to provide service. You've got to provide something of quality. Just like trying to be a successful YouTube channel here in the sailing genre, you've got to produce something good and useful for people. Otherwise, they're not going to watch. In real estate, they're not going to list with me. And so I do. One of the terms that we use in real estate is called farming, just like being a farmer. Historically, you would pick out a certain geographical area, neighborhood, subdivision, and you would focus your marketing on that particular area. Typically, you want to pick out an area, depending on how deep your pocket is, but I like to work about a 2,000 home neighborhood. So, well, thank you, Weigold. I appreciate that. I like to pick out a 2,000 home neighborhood. Fortunately, today, with technology being what it is, I no longer have to pick out a geographical area. I can pick out a economic area. I can limit my business to properties in a certain economic market. Specifically down in the Florida Keys, I want to have a farm there of about 2,000 homes. So what I did is I got on the state's Monroe County, Florida's GIS, which is provided through the appraiser's office, and I can look to see who owns every property. I can look to see what sales happened recently, what properties sold. So I did a search on there for properties that sold in the last 10 years, from 2007 to 2017, and I looked only at single-family homes, and I put in a parameter, say I want to look at properties that are $5 million and more. So, in the Florida Keys in the last 10 years, there was 134 properties that sold for $5 million and more. So those 134 addresses, names, people, properties, those go into my database that I'm creating for my real estate farm. Between $4 and $5 million, there was also 134 properties. Interesting, it was the same number, but it was. 3 to 4 million, 304 properties. 2 to 3 million, 500. Okay, so this is where it got weird. It said 499 properties, but it's only doing a 500 property search. So I had to break that down. I couldn't just say properties between 2 and 300,000 because I wasn't getting them all. So I had to break it down. 2.5 to 3 million, 2 million to 2.5 million, 1.75 to 2 million, on and on and on. I kept breaking it down. Anyhow, if I look at properties in the last 10 years that sold in the Florida Keys for 1.6 million and above, I get 2,134 houses. 1.6 million and above. That's the market to work. Now, another thing that, and so by doing that, I can choose what houses I want to sell. $1 million homes, I work on a 6% basis. $100,000 homes, I work on a 6% basis. I'd much rather get 6% of a million than 6% of 100. Okay, I think you guys can understand at that point. Now comes the second step in my experience for having been doing this for 30 years. I am not a long-term resident of the Florida Keys. I don't know everybody there. I am not in with any group. I haven't been a long-time member of the Chamber of Commerce. I haven't served in the Rotary. I'm not a member of the Yacht Club. I'm not a member of all the groups and organizations that realtors typically would dominate in to develop those contacts and relations with people in that particular community. Well, one of the real advantages that the Florida Keys offers me is that wholly 60% of the property owners in the Florida Keys do not live in the Florida Keys. They are what we refer to as NROs, non-resident owners. These are people that own property in the Florida Keys but do not live in the Florida Keys. Now, why is that important to me? Well, these people are not members of the Chamber of Commerce. They're not members of the Rotary. They're not members of the Golf Committee. They're not members of the Yacht Club. These are just people that own a house down there and come down there on vacation. Generally speaking, typically, these people do not have a strong relationship with the community down there because they're only there for a very short period of time and they're only there to recreate. In fact, some of these people only come down to their houses, for 1 or 2 weeks out of the year. They own a $5 million home. They're spending, $25,000 to $35,000 a year in property taxes, and they only see the house for a couple weeks out of each year. That's not abnormal down there. So it behooves me to direct my marketing specifically to non-resident owners that aren't going to have a solid relationship with an existing broker. They're going to be more apt to find somebody who's a bit more hardworking. And by hardworking, what we do in a real estate farm is we direct our marketing to them. And our marketing is not, hey, list your house, hey, list your house, hey, list your house. That's a waste of time. The marketing is, oh, by the way, this is what happened in the neighborhood this past month. I thought you might like to know that this house on this street sold for this price, that this house had been listed, and this is what the proper price what it sold for. This is what's going on with the latest regulations in regard to subdivisions or construction or any information that I can provide them that has a basis on and an impact on the value of their property in the Florida Keys, they're going to find of interest. The more information I can provide them, here's a list of properties that are currently on the market that are in your area, your market, your genre, your price range. You're providing with them the kind of, okay, Eskimo, goodbye. There's another person blocked. Anyhow, this is how we direct our marketing. We target our market. We provide service. We provide them with information about services that are available, new services that come into the area. Pool cleaning, maintenance, landscaping, roofing. I mean, in the Florida Keys, you're doing a lot of roofing, a lot of window repair, a lot of landscaping, post-hurricane cleanups, that kind of stuff. Dockage, who's building the best docks right now? Who's putting the best lifts in? So all of that kind of information is the kind of information that I provide and my once a month mailer to the people in my real estate farm, providing them a service, giving them some good solid information, presenting myself in a positive professional image. Like any other industry or business, this is how we go about building a market. So for those of you that might be interested in how does somebody from Ohio go down to Florida and be able to do this business, is because for the most part, most of the realtors down there in Florida are comfortable and not working all that hard. They're relying on the fact that they're members of the country club or the yacht club, or they have a big name and they have offices up and down the street. They're relying on that. And so by that virtue, we're able to come in and be very competitive right from the get-go. And so I'm very confident that I'll be able to get down to the Florida Keys. It's going to take some time, 6 months or so, to get some listings and get some transactions under my belt. And I'm going to use those funds initially to buy myself a boat to use as a floating condo down there in the Keys that we can use in Florida. We can take over to the Bahamas and that kind of stuff. So for those guys that signed up for the week with Grandpa, I can't refund you today, but I will be refunding you just as quickly as I can, and you will get 100% refund. And once we get the boat bought, I'm still going to invite you to come out and have a week out on the boat with me anyway. And I won't expect any funds, obviously, for that at all. I just want to do that as a matter of my own conscience. So let me check back in here. Oh, troll time. Yeah, you're going to have them. Let the haters hate. Yeah, people in the Keys need maintenance type info, keeping the place up while they're not there. Yes, Jeff, having a list of good suppliers and reliable people. The problem with the Florida Keys is being able to find people that are reliable, that are willing to work and do the job. There's a lot of fly-by-night companies. There's a lot of people that come down there and don't do a quality job on stuff. And so being able to identify those people quickly, efficiently, and maintain a list of those people is kind of a key service to provide to people there. So you're absolutely correct. Why can't boat brokers provide the same kind of service? Doug, there's really no reason why they can't. And some of them do, of a sort. Some of them do of a sort. But, there's really no reason why a boat broker can't provide that same kind of service. And, there's really no reason why a boat broker isn't targeting people. I mean, if I'm a boat broker in Key Largo, Florida, I would want to have a relationship and get to know who owns every boat in that harbor that's worth over a certain dollar amount that is going to be a potential listing for me if I was a boat broker. It's like anything else. It all boils down to doing the do. You gotta do the work. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy for me to sit here and compile a list of 2,000 names. It takes a lot of work to write letters and put together newsletters to send out to people, updating them as to what's going on in the market, to do the market research. It costs money for paper and envelopes and postage to do that. It's kind of old school, direct mail, very much old school kind of marketing, but it still works. And in a time when everything is Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, these people in this price range, they kind of appreciate a hand-addressed envelope with their name on it. It comes in the mail, it sticks out, and so they open it and they look at it, and you have the best possible marketing opportunity of getting your information in their hand right then and there. Even if all they do is they get that envelope, and they see your name on it and say, oh, it's a realtor, and throw it out. The point is they saw your name on it. They see your name on it 12 months in a row. Next time then they think, well, we better sell the property down, or hey, what's that guy keeps sending us envelopes? Let's contact him. That's how this works. So how long do you think the housing market is going to last? Forever, Casey. The housing market is going to last forever. There's always going to be short-term dips in the market. Like as an example, up in Alaska right now, they're seeing a short-term dip. For a 5, 6, 7 year period, property values came down. That's going to turn around. That's going to go back up. Absolutely going to go back up. Real estate, it's really simple. Economics, the basic law of economics is supply and demand. We're not making any more land. The land we have is getting, I'll tell you an interesting story today, is getting to a saturation point where where it's about all getting built on, or at least a lot of it is. Especially in areas like the Florida Keys, where there's very little ground to be developed. Almost every piece of land has something on it. And so you can't increase the supply, but the demand continues to increase because population grows, so property values continue to rise. There's not going to be any end to it. There might be small regional adjustments based on other economic factors, like up in Alaska, it's an oil-based economy. Fuel prices came down. Yes, right now they're down. So property values took a dip up there. Fuel prices get back up. If we go back up to $3 to $4 a gallon, which is what they're saying we should be at, and what a lot of the rest of the world is paying, then exploration up on the North Slope is going to kick back up, and property values in Alaska is going to go back up. It's a timing thing, but it's going to continue. What will your monthly outlay be for a newsletter of 2,100 people? Patrick, I usually spend about $1 a piece to put those letters out, between postage, paper and envelope, printing and ink on my computer printer. I'm usually right at $1. I think the last farm I was doing up in Alaska, I think I was right at like $1.08 per person. So that's the cost of doing business. Now, obviously, I have a much better opportunity to recover that investment in Florida than I did up in Alaska. In Alaska, it was costing me more money than I was making up there. Well, yeah, not really, no. I mean, I was spending, $20,000 a year on marketing and making $95,000, so you can't complain about that. But in the Florida Keys, looking at just the difference in property values, I can still spend that $24,000 a year down there, and now instead I'll be making $450,000. So much better ROI then. Second chance, send them a Christmas card. Absolutely, Christmas card, Thanksgiving Day card, whatever the holidays are, 4th of July celebration, yay America, Veterans Day. I mean, all those kinds of things. You definitely want to do some themed kind of stuff and remind them of the holidays and whatever. So. Also, a lot of potential buyers and sellers are retired and prefer to go the old school route. Why gold? You're absolutely correct, especially up in that price range. Most of the people buying $2 million and up or $1 million and up homes in the Florida Keys are not young kids. There is some of that. There's some of the tech kids or whatever, the .com kids and some of that, but very little of that. Most of that is a lawyer, an accountant, business owner in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Minnesota, that has a successful business and, maintains a house down the Florida Keys that they go down there and recreate with. Or maybe they'll come down for the winter, but usually they're only down there for a few months or a couple months out of the year. The rest of the time they're back up home. So Trump's brought Christmas back to the U.S. Well, maybe. That's the same problem we have in San Diego. Demand is extremely high and supply is near zero. Yeah, and as long as that happens, property values are going to continue to grow. It fundamentally cannot change. The rest of the world pays more for gas because governments tax the hell out of it. That's true, Patrick. A lot of governments do, but a lot of it is logistics cost. The cost, like for example, up in Alaska, which mind-blowing to me, all of the gasoline that we had up in Alaska, the oil was drilled in Alaska, shipped down the pipeline, loaded on tankers, taken down to the lower 48, where it was refined, put back in tankers, shipped back up to Alaska, hauled to the gas stations, and sold to us. So all the gasoline that we would buy in Alaska was very expensive because it had to be shipped down to the lower 48 and back as fuel because we didn't have a refinery up in Alaska. Crazy. So logistics has a big impact on what you pay for various products around the world. ROW has better gas, though. ROW? What do you mean ROW has better gas? You get what you pay for. You definitely do get what you pay for. No doubt about that. You get what you pay for. So, I don't know what you mean by ROW has better gas, though. Yeah, I don't know, Dick. You'll have to explain that. So anyhow, there's a little bit behind the scenes and some of the decision making that goes on. Right now, I'm in the process of going through all of my real estate schooling that I have to do, And I got to kind of laugh at it because, I've done this so many times, I don't even read the stuff anymore. I just click through. I get to the section quiz. I take the quiz. I'm usually in the 80 to 90%, which is passing grade, and I go on to the next one. So I'm kind of, sort of taking advantage of the situation, which should be a 72-hour class. I'm usually knocking that out in just seconds. Well, not seconds, but I'm knocking out a 72-hour class in 15 or 20 hours instead of 72 hours, just because I already know the material. Fact is, they should make it available so I can just go in and take the test. If I pass, I pass. I mean, I don't see the point in having to sit through all this material again. Except Florida has some very particular stuff that's unique to Florida, and that's why I'm taking the class again. That's why I paid for it, so I could refresh my memory. Because they want, you need to know how many people are members of the real estate licensing board and where they come from, what parts of the state get to send how many representatives. And I mean, some of the stuff they ask it absolutely has nothing to do with selling real estate, but it's on the test. So rest of the world, I see. Okay. Yep. Okay. I get it. Bob Gibbons, Carl, not to be a hater, but where are you going to get $2,000 a month for the mailers before you have sold any homes? Going to take the best 3 months before you sell something, Bob, and I don't take that as a hater. That is a very big issue that I'm working out of right now. Keep in mind, I'm still a licensed real estate broker up in Alaska, and I do have properties in Alaska that are currently on the market. And I have some activity on some of those properties, so I'm hoping something up there sells fairly quickly to provide me with my marketing dollars to go forward down in Florida. If that does not happen, then I have a lot of options for getting some other kind of employment temporarily to fund that while I'm getting things going. And if it comes to being that hard of a road, then that's how hard of a road it's going to be, and I just got to do the work. So no, and I don't see that as a hater at all. That's a legitimate question. So desktop calendar is the best thing to send people. They keep in sight for a year. Yeah, I don't know, second chance. A lot of people don't mess with desktop calendars anymore. I'm not a big advocate of sending people stuff like that that kind of stuff, because you're just adding to landfill. I get all these stupid things all the time, marketing gimmicks and stuff. Send them a pen with your name on it or something. I'm not going to print something and make something to send to them, I'm just making stuff for the landfill. I'm going to provide them with service, professional service. I'm going to provide them with information that they, generally speaking, don't have access to, especially since they're not native. They're not local. They're not aware of what's happening locally. So if I can provide them with a venue that's providing them with information about what's going on locally that's going to affect their property value, that's the best thing I can do for them. So can I give myself a shout out? Sailing Dutchman, absolutely, man. Give yourself a shout out. Although I think you just did. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sailing Dutchman's a new YouTube channel, guys. Go ahead and check them out. You're well experienced at what you do. You won't have to go through the learning curve. No, Casey. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Yeah, there's no learning curve at this point in trying to pick things up, especially going into that market. I've already worked in that market. And I might add, I worked in that market very successfully. So it's good to study just in case there's new regulations. Ian, this is true, yes. Who is the girl you was having lunch with the other day? Oh, Rhonda. Joe, I had lunch with Rhonda. Cheshire Canary. She moderates for me on my channel. Rhonda lives here in Canal Winchester, and I went out to lunch with Rhonda. We went and watched the Ohio State game. Go Bucks. They beat Michigan again. Love that. But yeah, I went out to lunch with Rhonda. So that was a lot of fun. Pens with a clock built in. Selling Dutchman, we'll check your channel later. There you go. Have you thought about being a boat broker? No. Why would I? Why would I sell, boats when I can sell homes? I make much more money selling homes. Although I'm probably going to be the only real estate broker in Florida that lives on a boat but sells houses for a living. Just my preference, I like boats. So, hey, Kelly Banks, how you doing, man? Glad to see you here. I'm glad that you made it. So So anyhow, guys, there's a little bit of behind the scenes, and yes, there was a very legitimate question and asked, how do you fund all of that while we're waiting for stuff to get going? And my only answer is I still work for a living. I'm still a real estate broker up in Alaska, and I am still keeping abreast of what's going on up there, and still continuing to market properties up there and work up there. As much as I ever did up there, even I can be legitimately successful, and in fact, some of my I just had to have some of my listings renewed, and I contacted people on the houses, explaining to them my situation, and they absolutely would prefer to keep their listings renewed with me than to try to go on to another broker, because they know I'm going to take care of them and get the job done correctly. So, and that makes me feel great. In fact, one of the things that I like to do when I'm feeling bad is I go look on my Zillow page and I look at these great comments people have written about me, and what I've done a good job for them. You're doing a good job for people. Like in Montana, you're doing a good job for people when you help them buy their land, you help them sell the house, buy a new house, sell a new house. Their dad bought a house, then they sold that house. When you do 4 and 5 transactions within the same family, you're doing something right. And when, like I had one of my clients in Montana, is a writer, very well-known writer who's made a ton of money. And, I helped them sell their house. I helped them buy another house. I helped them buy a big ranch. Over a 4-year period, I must have made $200,000 in commissions helping these guys out. And these are people that were so broke when I first met them that when they were getting ready to publish their son's first book, they weren't sure if they could afford to self-publish his book. So it was a question of, do we buy groceries this month or do we self-publish his book? And they self-published the book instead. Best decision they ever made in their lives, because he's now gone on to become one of the best writers in the country. And Patrick, you're absolutely correct. It was Aragon, it was my friend that wrote that. So Christopher Paolini. Actually, I really know his mom and dad better than I know Christopher, but I know Christopher. I watched Christopher grow up, so it's kind of nice. But yes, Aragon. Thank you, Alan B. I appreciate that. Sell houseboats. Oh, man. Hey, Rhonda. How you doing, darling? Are you having any luck selling your farm in Alaska? Yes and no. I have people looking at it. I don't have a solid deal on it yet, but we have people looking at it. It's an ongoing process. I'm doing all I can to step up the marketing. I got online and I was, with the intent of doing a price reduction to try to motivate people. But I went and looked at all the other similar properties that are on the market compared to mine, and I'm like $30,000 cheaper than the next property that would be very similar to mine. So I'm very well priced right now for anybody that's looking for a great opportunity. So, yeah, it's just going to sell. Of course, it's winter up there. There's 3 feet of snow on the ground right now at the farm. I'm glad I'm not there shoveling snow. But, yeah, there's 3 feet of snow on the ground right now. So, that makes it a little difficult for things to sell. But, nonetheless, people are looking. Houseboats is a growing niche market as the Dutch architects design awesome swimming houses. Yeah, Dick, we don't have a lot of the canal houses like you have in Europe. Houseboats here tend to be, great big, huge palatial boxes set on water that are common in some of the lakes and stuff, especially around the Arkansas, Tennessee, those lakes in that area. You see some of them in saltwater, but not a lot, because they're just not... well, frankly, they're just not seaworthy. They're fine for, pulling around a lake or something, but you're not going to get them out in the big water. So, Pacific Northwest, up around Seattle, you see some of them. They never go anywhere. They're just a floating house. They're a barge that someone built a house on top of. It doesn't have a motor. It can't go anywhere. So they're just, it's sort of a unique thing. So, I'm happy with the market I'm going to be working in right now. I got more work to do than I have time to do it in right now, so that's fine. So, thank you, Patrick. Martin, I need a program to make pictures into a small video. Ooh, Martin. I don't know. Could model Speedos. Yeah, James, I think there's a growing number of people out there that would probably pay good money to not see me in a Speedo. So, blender.org. There you go, Dutchman. Yeah, I think Dutchman is correct. I think blender.org, you can post the pictures and it puts them together in a series. And I think you can even put music behind them or something. So you do basically like a photo slideshow. I must give them a shout out. It's a badass program. There you go. What's up, my G's? Okay. There's an app for everything these days, Martin. Now, there certainly is, isn't there? There certainly is. So, all right. Today, oh, sorry, got something in my eye. Today, I did something interesting this morning. Well, I had to get out of the cabin for a bit. The garage here has a cockroach problem. And so I had to bomb the garage with a cockroach, bomb thing, a spray thing that, fogger kind of deal. I had to close it up and let one of them loose in here. So me and Lily had to be out of the cabin for a few hours. So I decided to go for a drive. My family on my mother's side, that part of the family originated from Sunbury, Ohio, which is north and a little east of Columbus. And there's a butcher shop up there that my family used to like to go to called Be-Kissed Meats. So I thought, man, wouldn't it be great to run up there to Be-Kissed and pick up a pound of bacon or something just to see the guys up there and say hello and see what's going on. So I got into my car and I looked up Be-Kissed Meats and it had an address and I plugged it in and I drove all the way up there. Man, has that neighborhood changed. Wow. It is nothing but nonstop suburbia from one end to the other. What used to be all farm fields is now nothing but house after house after house after house. So, I'll be the first to pay you not to. There you go, James. Hello, Grandpa. You look like you could use a new Toyota. Come to us at Stevenson Toyota in Jacksonville. Okay. Roaches be the worst, bro. Yep, roaches are bad. Are you just going to concentrate on the Keys market? Or no, just in the Florida Keys. Monroe County specifically, just in the Florida Keys. I've been to Columbus. It's pretty dope. Yep, not bad. Thanks, I'll have a look. When you buy a brand new Toyota Camry, you won't have... Okay, so Stevenson Toyota, you got your plug in. One more comment and you're going to be gone, dude. So, combat roach traps created by scientists who collected and killed the hardiest roaches in the world. Yeah, Doug, my only problem with using something like that is I'm afraid Miss Lily will play with it, chew it up, and get that stuff on themselves. So... Oh, so Stevenson, goodbye. Thanks for wasting everybody's time. Oh, sorry, Rhonda, I was faster than you, I guess. You timed them out and I just banned them. I have no patience anymore. So, hey, Don B, how you doing? Anyhow, so I drove up to Sunbury to go find Be-Kissed Meats and to get some bacon. Now, to give you an idea how good this place used to be, my mom and my sisters, when they lived in New York, would call him and have him ship bacon to them in New York so they could have good bacon. The guy had a really good shop, and he made really good bacon. So I was really excited to go up there, and now it's a pizza shop. It's no longer a butcher shop anymore. So Be-Kissed is no more. But that whole community went from being, farmlands and big dairy farms and stuff. I mean, when I was 16, I worked on a dairy farm up there for a summer. Got my butt kicked doing that. But it's all houses now. I couldn't even find the old farm, and I couldn't find my sister's old house. I couldn't even identify the roads up there anymore. I went into the town is one of those towns that has a town square. So I know that I used to go in the town square and I would go to the southwest corner and go out that road, and that was the road to go to my sister's house. Well, you go out that road now, and it brings you right up around into another road. The old road is gone. It's not there anymore. It's all subdivisions and shopping centers. And so I spent an hour driving around that countryside trying to figure out where I was. And I got to admit, I was just completely lost. So Marianne, my sister Marianne, if you watch any of these videos, which I doubt you do, just know that Sunbury... Sunbury, you cannot tell that you've left Columbus going to Sunbury. It's just non-stop subdivisions and houses and shopping malls, and there's no more getting out into the country and getting there. It's just non-stop houses. So, and you know, as a realtor, you know, we're kind of to blame for some of that kind of stuff. But I got to admit, it was. You know, everyone blames realtors for that. You know, we're not the ones that own the land and made the subdivisions. We may sell them, but we didn't make them. But it was really disappointing seeing that beautiful farmland now be absolutely nothing but subdivisions and houses and stuff. So, used to be a really nice neighborhood. In fact, I tried to find the cemetery where my grandparents were buried. I couldn't even find the cemetery anymore. Maybe they moved it or something. I don't know. It's just not where it used to be. So, anyhow, where are we at? Good day, Grandpa. Hey, Don B. Selling float planes, Rick. Oh, there's an interesting name. Are you going to do rentals too? No, sir. Not going to do rentals. I used to, when I had my real estate business in New York on Long Island, I used to manage, like 2,000 rentals. We managed a shitload of business. I had 2 5-man crews that did nothing but R&R and properties. You know, we go in, kick a tenant out, tear that apartment over, you know, redo all the drywall, kitchen, bathroom, paint, carpet, flooring, and be out of there in 4 to 5 days, turn that over and put a new tenant in there. I used to manage a bunch and had a big crew doing that. I don't ever want to have to work that hard again. I don't ever have to do that. And rentals, you know, it's just not worth it. I do not want to get that phone call at 2 a.m. saying, our hot water's not on, you know, or those kind of stupid things that you get all the time. So, no, I'm not handling rentals anymore. So, not doing that. Should have drove up 3C. I did drive up part of the 3C, Rhonda. I did. In fact, I drove up some of the old 3C, and I was still lost in there. The gel type injected behind light switches, plugs keep them gone. They take the nest cell. They take to nest cell at Ace Hardware. The gel type injected behind light switch. I'll look into that, James Michael. I'll look into that. I'll stop at Ace Hardware and see what they've got. I just got to make sure whatever I use doesn't kill the dog. And today what we used... Today we used Raid. It comes in a little can. This can treats 600 and something square feet. The garage is only 20 by 20, so it's only 400 square feet. Right? About 400. So this can, one can does the whole thing. So I opened the door up to the little storage room over here, and I fired this off. And now we're in here, and then next week I'm going to do it again, and next week I'm going to do it again. And I think after that, it'll be cold enough outside that we don't have to worry about any more intrusions, and that should kill whatever we have inside. So that'll get rid of the little buggers, but I'll check that out, James. I appreciate that. Blame the regulators for urban sprawl. That said, people love single-family homes, and that takes land. Yeah, you know, it's really not a blame anybody situation, Don. I mean, people have a right to live someplace, and they enjoy living wherever they enjoy living, and they have as much right to a home as you and I. So it's really not a blame thing. Although people do blame realtors, we're the bad guys all the time. Woe is me. But no, really, it's not a blame thing. It's just, you know, it's a reality that people got to live someplace. So, and everybody wants to live in a little McMansion, and so they build all these little McMansions. And that's what it was up in Sunbury. It was either really nice little McMansions or it was apartment complexes. And I mean apartment complex after apartment complex after apartment complex. Oh, we're getting all kinds of idiots on here, aren't we? Goodbye, you are the weakest link. I sell wood. Okay. No Lily. Yes, we have Lily. Rest in peace. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, Lily is in her crate, as you can see. She is out cold, sleeping, because prior to the live stream, I took her to the park and I threw the tennis ball for her so long and so often, wore her butt out. She is absolutely just wore out. So she is very quietly and peacefully sleeping in her dog crate right now, and is oblivious to the fact that I'm doing a live stream. So, and it's something that I knew I should have been doing for a long time. And yes, Rhonda, pink, which by the way, dogs don't see pink very well. It's a bad color for a ball for a dog, because they don't see reds and pinks very well. She kept losing the tennis ball even though it was literally right underneath of her. So I'm gonna have to get her some green or blue or some other color, because dogs just don't see anything in the red spectrum very well, and of course pink is in the red spectrum. So look on Pinterest and find something natural for those critters. Yeah, I could do that. Well, thank you, Jared. I appreciate it. I enjoy being back on. In fact, I think it's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not going to have a lot of sailing material right now. I am in the process of renewing my Florida real estate license, and that's taking a lot of time. I'm waiting for Florida to send me fingerprint cards that I have to get I have to be checked by the FBI again, just like I was 2 years ago, and I'm not worried about it. I used to be a federal firearms dealer, so I got checked. I've been checked and checked and checked by the FBI. They must have more copies of my fingerprints there than you can shake a stick at this point. But they're going to go and do another background check and make sure I'm a person of good moral character and what have you. And we'll see where that goes. And let's see, so I'm waiting for my fingerprint cards, and Alaska is sending to Florida a copy of my licensing history, which they have to get, and I've already paid all the fees for Florida, and I've gotten my schooling, which I'm finishing up now. Then I have to go take a test again, and so once I get my test taken, then I'm done. Then I'm licensed in Florida again. Then I got to join the multiple listing service again. So. And that's actually the biggest expense, is joining the multiple listing service. That by itself cost more than all the rest of the licensing expenses involved prior to that, is to join the multiple listing service. So we'll see. Hey, let's go shooting. Okay, who do you want to shoot, Rhonda? We can go do that. Can you sell boats with that in Florida? No, it's a real estate license, not a boat brokerage. Boat brokerage is a whole different animal than real estate sales. In fact, I wish it was as well regulated as real estate sales is. Although I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I really don't know the details and requirements what there are for becoming a licensed boat broker. I can tell you the boat brokers that I've dealt with, I have not found to be 80% of them are not very good brokers in my mind's eye. So what does it take to get started in sailing? It's something I've been interested in, but just as a hobby, so I ain't trying to do much of a side thing. Well, thick boy, the thing to do would be to find a local sailing club near you is the best thing I could recommend. Just try to find some local group of people that do sailing. There's sailing clubs all over the country, and just find one of those groups and see if there's someone there that'll take you out and literally show you the ropes. Although we don't call them ropes on sailboats, still you'll have someone show you the ropes. So, boat brokers, used car salesmen. Yes, Uncle Fester, that is very true. Yeah, they're right about the same people as the used car salesmen. I put them right up there with payday loans, car title loans, and pawn shops. I think they're right in that same genre, at least from my perspective anyway. But anyhow, guys, listen, we've killed off a perfectly good hour here doing the live stream. I think you guys have a better feeling for what's coming up This week is going to be all about getting my Florida license going again. I don't know there'll be anything really much in the way of exciting stuff to talk about. I am itching to get some aerial footage done. I actually took my drone with me today when I went up to Sunbury. I just didn't find any place or anything up there that seemed like a interesting thing to videotape. I am thinking about taking my rod, though, and going back up where I was by Sunbury and do a little fishing, since the weather seems to be pretty nice. And maybe if I do that, I'll take my drone up with me and shoot some video of that. That seems like it might be a good distraction. And Rhonda just invited me to go shooting. We'll have to use her guns, since I've got some of my guns here, but we'll have to see. And maybe we'll shoot some of Rhonda's guns and burn up her ammo. So, thanks for the help, man. You're a real one. Well, thanks, thick boy. Start scratching. What do you mean, start scratching? I don't get that. Hey. You can hear all those dogs barking. That's the dogs that live with my ex-wife. She has a lot of dogs. What time will you be back on, Wednesday or not? Yes, Wednesday's at 1 o'clock, and Sunday, I will be doing a live stream again on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Wherever you fall in that, it'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we will see you then. You're told it was starting to get itchy. Starting to get itchy. Okay, I don't know. Oh, that's right. Rhonda's going to Florida, so we can't go shooting. She'll be in Florida. So, anyhow, we're just going to go ahead and end this here, guys. You all take care of yourself. Be good and be careful and take good care of one another. And we will see everybody, I guess, on Sunday. And I may have a video that I might put up between now and then. I'll be seeing you soon. You can't avoid me. Okay, I'm terminal. Hey, liver cancer. You know what, dude? I just got rid of you, so goodbye. Bye all, and Carl, have a nice week. Thanks, Martin. You guys all take care. Everyone be good and be careful. Take good care of one another, and we'll see you next week. Okay, guys? Bye.